We're here. We're ready to answer your sit questions and IDP relevant questions for week 6. We are joined by our friend John Glosser, who is the first ever guest we had on the IDP 411, and he's back to help us out today answering those questions. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on. I don't know how to react to the first guest being the first guest ever, but I'll try to do my best.
You were the first guest ever when we did the we went over your Isaiah Simmons piece, which
Yeah.
Isaiah Simmons, what's up with him?
Oh man, hurt. My soul is hurt.
I know, man. My soul's hurt. My fantasy teams are hurt. It's wild.
Yeah, for sure.
But I expected him to be the best rookie or one of the best rookies, and that just did not pan out, or so far. Although I have some thoughts about this week, with Chandler Jones going out there, and the guy who came in to replace him was some what's his name? I forgot his name. Canard, or I don't know. He had 2 sacks after Jones came in, but apparently he's not going to play this week. So I'm interested if they're going to have to be forced to play Isaiah Simmons this week. Like, can you afford to not have him on the field as your number 1 pick and you just lost a guy? Like, find a way to get him out there is kind of what I think. So I'm going to be tuned into that Arizona game a little bit more astutely this week than normal. What about you?
Yeah, I think Devon Canard, right? That's who's supposed to. He came in from the Lions. I think he might be hurt this week. I'm not positive, but yeah, I mean, it's been kind of like puzzling how they've had injuries to the secondary, now injuries, I guess, to linebacker. So it just seems like Simmons can do a little bit of everything. How he's not being on field is just kind of puzzling. And I was a little worried when they made the draft pick just because of the amount of people they brought in, the talent that they have. But it was just kind of like, hey, well, he's a great player. He's going to end up playing. And just hasn't been the case so far. So hopefully that turns around here.
Yeah, hopefully. Thoughts and prayers with Isaiah Simmons' IDP value. So what are some big storylines, or what are some things you're looking at this week, or in the coming weeks necessarily? I know you wrote the Start Sit article, obviously, for IDP Nerds this week. Who were some guys that you said you should definitely be starting, and vice versa?
Chase Winovich ended up making his second appearance through 6 weeks. He's really become like an underrated IDP, a guy that I think like we're just so used to even the offensive side of the ball with New England, like just nobody being consistent. He's been very consistent so far. So he was on there. Bobby O'Peak, he's on there. I had Anthony Walker on there last week, obviously with the injuries to Leonard and also the just kind of on Darius Leonard like play. That Colts linebacker position now, especially with DeForest Buckner there, just seems like kind of like a gold mine. Those guys are eating tackles. And I believe Justin Reed ended up being the safety that I had for the start this week. A lot of people knock on Justin Reed because he's not the greatest graded safety in terms of real football, but in terms of IDP value, he's been consistent. I think he's I researched. I think out of his last 9 games, I think he's at 1 game under 10 points. So
Nice.
It's been pretty solid. The sits really do like kill me because it's hard to
Yeah.
you're not letting people like sit your studs. So
yeah, but it's hard to pick because I can IDP. A lot of it is it's a little bit more flat. So it's like when you tell someone to sit somebody, you're sitting them knowing they're still going to score. Like it's not like they're
Yeah, they're just not you don't think that huge game,
Exactly. You're just saying the odds of them having that week winning game are less than player X, Y, and Z. So yeah, it can be tough. I did that last year a little bit, and we do that here on the show. So we hopefully give people pretty half decent advice week to week.
Man, people react badly when you give them bad advice, though, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You can only do so much. Put a little background up here. All right, looks like we got one of our first questions in here. Picked up Landon Collins over Harrison Smith. Hope it works out. Yeah, I mean, I think I have Landon Collins higher than Smith every week, but Smith's been, I don't know, he hasn't been a stalwart like I would hoped he would, especially compared to some other guys that have been kind of stalwarts. But everybody has down weeks too. I mean, Antoine Winfield, even the last week or two, has been down. So it's kind of hard to be overly down on Harrison Smith, but Landon Collins, yeah, I mean, I would play him over Smith every week still, personally.
Yeah, for me too. Harrison Smith's had a couple real stinkers. I think there were 4-pointers in IDP 1, 2, 3. One of those is, I think, you got to take with a grain of salt. Though he was thrown out for that helmet-to-helmet hit that I don't believe he should have been thrown out for. But yeah, all in all, he hasn't been the same Harrison Smith, especially from a IDP standpoint. And I don't see it in any way, shape, or form in any week if he's healthy that I'm sitting Landon Collins. So.
Yeah, exactly. You got to take the good with the bad, and that's just one of the facts with fantasy football in general. It's kind of why I'm playing Michael Gallup this week, 5th week in a row. He's, he had like 10, 11 points. He had 11 points last week, which a lot of people don't realize, and most of it came with Andy Dalton, because as soon as Andy Dalton came in, he threw him a couple of dimes. He had a 25-point game, and with a guy like that, he's like Calvin Ridley. Like nobody's talking about Calvin Ridley 0. Like, you were starting Calvin Ridley. Like, I feel like it's the same thing with Michael Gallup, where it's just like you have to take the bad with the good if you want to get the good. Yep. And that's the same with IDP players too. Sometimes a guy doesn't do much, but I mean, you have to take the bad with. If you want the good to be in your lineup, you got to just leave the guy in your lineup. Don't get cute. Don't dance around. But yeah, Landon Collins, back to that original question earlier, is the play for me. Let's see what we got here. Need one cornerback: Mike Hughes, Troy Hill, or Bryce Callahan. Who you guys got?
I gotta think there's deeper cornerbacks than that, but I mean, I don't know how many they're starting there. I don't know. The stream matchup at corner, I think, is so. I mean, it's really like hit and miss. I don't love it.
Yeah, I'm the same with corner play. It's like I just leave one corner in all the time. I mean, it's just like eventually he'll do something. I try, I'll switch a guy out if he's hurt or on bye week, but I guess Troy Hill has been doing pretty good. He's the Rams corner, right? And then Mike Hughes is the Vikings corner, and Callahan's on Denver. I'm probably just going to stick with Hill. Apparently the Rams defense has been pretty good stopping the pass, so that means they're breaking up a lot of passes, or not letting guys get too far into the back or past the line of scrimmage. So
I'm probably just chasing points per game there, you know what I mean, on an average. If I feel like, a certain person has a decent floor, I think I'm just going to go with that. And for me, I think I'm agreeing with you. It's probably Troy Hill out of that trio.
Yeah. Same. All right, we got another one here from the YouTube. Travis Knott asks, Tyrell Adams or Bobby Okereke?
You already know.
I was going to say, I'm going Okereke.
Yeah, I mean, monster game last week. No Leonard again. I love Anthony Walker as well, but Okereke's been amazing even with a broken thumb. So, yeah, that's me. Tyrell Adams I'm interested in. I think it's a kind of a wait-and-see approach. He's going to obviously step in for Benardrick McKinney, who's on IR, is gone for the year. Zach Cunningham's obviously the tackle leader there from that linebacker crew, but McKinney was playing really well, so I don't know much about Tyrell Adams. I'm pretty in tune to the college scene, too. I don't know much about him. I think he's been in the league for a few years now, but I think it's a wait-and-see approach where, Okereke, I think you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable with Okereke as well. Just knowing, like you said, we saw a huge game from him last week, bigger than Tyrell Adams. And with Leonard out, right? I think that's the official word on Leonard.
Doubtful was the last I saw, but with the bye next week, I think it just makes
sense. He's not going to play. Yeah. So I fire up Okereke in that spot too, 100%. Morning IDP Army from Tyreek Ellis. What's up, man? Pick 2, Kaiser, Miles Jack, Roquan Smith, Zadarius Smith. I don't know what your scoring is, but I'm going to go it's Miles. Ooh, this is tough. I don't know if I want
to. Yeah, you aren't going to go.
I got to think about this for a second. Well, okay. It's so hard not to play Kaiser, right? I mean, Micah Kaiser's been a beast.
Right.
So has Miles Jack. They're both coming off injuries, though, so that makes it weird. And Roquan Smith is obviously a stud, so I don't want to sit him.
Zadarius Smith questionable?
Yeah, Zadarius Smith is the easy sit there.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to go with I'm going to go Roquan Smith and Miles Jack. I know Micah Kaiser. I probably should be playing Micah Kaiser. I'm probably an idiot for not playing him, but that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's Miles and Roquan for me. I don't believe Miles even has a tag this week. After sitting last week, I think he's a full go. Kaiser, I know, is still questionable, but I think all signs are pointing to him playing. I think he's practiced this week. Troy Reader had that monster game last week. I don't know. I don't know if Kaiser comes back. Is he going to be, Micah Kaiser from weeks like 1 through 3 where he, gobbled up every tackle that was on the field pretty much. Miles has been playing great, and like you said, Roquan's a stud. You're not going to sit that guy. So, it's tough, but I think I'm going Miles and Roquan.
All right.
They come at us with some tough questions.
Yeah, I know, dude. This is like I said, this is always a hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're welcome, Clash. Good luck. What's up, Shane? Good morning. How you doing, brother? Good to have you on. Tyreek Ellis, Chase Winovich, or Frank Clark. There's another fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna check these matchups out real quick just to be sure I know what I'm talking about here. But Frank Clark plays the Bills. I know Josh Allen's been sacked quite a bit, and then Winovich plays Denver.
Yep.
And Drew Lock's coming back off of injury, and their line is not great. So these are both good matchups.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my rankings for this week, and I have Clark at 9, and I have Winovich at 11. So it's very close. I'm probably going to go with my rankings and go Clark. And I'm a Chiefs fan, but I'll be serious. Like, every week I feel like Winovich has just been popping. Like, every week he makes a disruptive play. So it's really close, but I'll probably just stick with my rankings, and I'll probably go Clark.
Yeah, I think it's close. I'm going to take Winovich, obviously, just because he's in the That's It article for the Nerds this week. He's also the only defensive lineman in IDP 1, 2, 3 scoring that is in the top 40 with 177 snaps or less. So he's just dominating on like a smaller snap share. He's also I think he's yet to have a single digit game as well. So Denver's given up 41 sacks already this season. So I think they had a game this year where I think it was the Pittsburgh game, obviously not taking anything away because Pittsburgh gets after the passer better than just about anybody in the league. But I think every single offensive lineman, I think, in that game was graded with allowing at least 2 pressures or more. So,
wow.
I'm thinking New England will definitely, especially with the week off, no Melvin Gordon in that game. I think that they're going to try to get after Locke early. Winovich should hopefully get one of those big splash plays in there, but I'm not advocating sitting Frank Clark either. That's a good matchup as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good problem to have. So you got Clark and you got Winovich. So good luck, man. It'll be funny if they both end up scoring like the exact same.
Yeah.
That's always my favorite when we sit here and like argue about a guy, and then they like I think we actually did that last week with Bobby Okereke and Anthony Walker, and they both scored within like a half a point of each other, and they were both amazing last week. So I was like, we all won. So all right, Eric Kendricks or F. Olakun, Foysaid Olakun or Eric Kendricks. Damn, that's tough. If we're playing him in a linebacker spot, so if you're not on sleeper, then I'm going to go Kendricks. But if it's obviously if you can play DB Olakun, you're going to put him in there. They're both really good this season, though. I mean, That's a tough one.
Yeah, Kendricks is in the IDP stud department for me, so I don't see how I'm sitting him. I know Eric Wilson's been playing really well as well, but
dude, he's a stud too. But you can have 2 studs. That shouldn't scare you.
Kendricks for me, but yeah, Olakun, like especially you're talking about on sleeper. If you could find a way to get both those guys in your lineup, man, that's money.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Yeah, I mean, Eric Kendricks is 20 points, 25, 18, 22, 15. I mean, you can't. And then Olakun, although he has been pretty good himself too. What we got here? I'll look him up real fast. He's got 10, 20, then he missed a week, then 13 and 28. So, yeah, I mean, they're both really good. But I'm with you. Kendricks is probably the play. So we got one here from Lucas OG on the YouTube. What up, bro? Micah Kaiser questionable. Should I play him anyway, or Olakun or Jewel? That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it is.
I'm probably still gonna just play Micah Kaiser.
Coming off the injury.
Even coming off the injury, if they're going to play him, I mean, like, some of the guys that have come off injury this year have been pretty good. I mean, like, Matt Milano, I know he came off injury. He had a monster game. And Olakun, he came off injury. He had a good game. So I'm just going to kind of stick with Micah Kaiser there, probably, personally.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than the Roquan question, because you're looking at, like, legitimate, guys in place of him, with him and Miles Jack. In this situation, I think I'm probably tempted to play Micah Kaiser more. You got the primetime game. Everybody's going to be watching. He's returned. Olakun, I know, has kind of been he's been carrying around some sort of questionable tag, or I think he missed a game in there too. Josie, I like the story of Josie, but it's coming off that one boom game. I really try to, like, when I give people advice, that's one of the biggest things is those boom games, kind of like the Troy Reader last week, is when you have just that one boom game where he had, I think, 3 sacks against the Jets on Thursday Night Football. It's just like those are going to inflate his numbers like crazy, where the actual consistency there, I'm not positive on him, of how consistent of a points per game guy he is this year. But yeah, Micah Kaiser is just he's in the stud department, so if you feel like if he's going to play, he's going to be a stud. So I think I would go with him in that scenario.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to go Micah Kaiser there. I do have them literally back-to-back in my rankings this week, though. I like Olakun a lot. And Jewel I have a little bit lower. And I'm with you. I mean, they're higher points per game. They're sitting like that 18-20 range usually. And then besides that one big game that Jewel had, he's kind of in that, 12 to 13, 14 area. So let's see. We got here Travis Knott again on YouTube. Kenny Clark or Danico Autry? I'm gonna go.
This is a good one. I actually cut Autry this morning because Kenny Clark was coming back from injury, or from being out for a couple
there
weeks.
You go.
So in 1DT required. So yeah, Kenny Clark doesn't have a tag this week, and I mean he's a top 5 to 8 defensive tackle. In terms of actual defensive line, I'm assuming this is defensive tackle if these are your
options.
Yeah. So Kenny Clark for me hasn't played since week 1. I got Green Bay's definitely missed him in the middle there, so I would it'd be Kenny Clark for me. He's a stud in terms of DT required.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Although I do understand the allure of wanting to play Danico Autry. I would rather lose with like a home run hitter in my lineup than lose with a home run hitter on my bench, even if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we got one from Clint here. Good morning, guys. Hope all is well. Autry versus the Bengals or Hyder versus the Rams? Big play scoring, sacks, hits, hurries. Hyder has been playing slightly better. Autry has better matchup, though. Thanks. I'm going to go Hyder there. He's just been really, really, really good this year, especially for IDP. He's consistently a high scorer. He's in the top 12, 15 at an IDP 1, 2, 3 scoring on the season. He has never let you down at this point. So I'm going to keep rolling Hyder out there in that situation.
So you don't like that juicy matchup?
I know it's juicy, but I would, with other guys on that line like DeForest Buckner and Justin Houston, it's hard for me to want to play Danico Autry, whereas Hyder has kind of like been the best.
Wasn't Houston questionable?
He may have been, but
like 50-50 play this game.
Really?
Yeah.
I will vet
Hyder's
that.
been plug and play, man. Like he's
right. I get it. I went and grabbed him up off waivers and stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So especially with Armstead struggling, I don't know if Armstead's struggling with getting more attention or what it is, but Hyder's just. I mean, even if it's not a sack, it's a couple tackles for a loss, a QB hit, anything in there. I think Hyder's been very consistent. He might be one of those top defensive linemen that's less than 10 points a game all season on an IDP 1, 2, 3. So I like Hyder. I think the matchup is great. I mean, sometimes you try to not get too lost in that. But if a guy's consistently producing for you, it's hard to just take him out of your lineup and then kick yourself for it if he doesn't outperform Hyder there. So
Yeah, like I said, I'm a Hyder on that one as well. Pretty handily. No shade to Autry. Guys, I don't want to drop Bradbury or Hilton, but is it worth dropping one of them for Jerome Maker or Emmanuel Ogbah? They play the bum Jets. I would.
Yes.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't really. Jerome. Jerome Baker's been pretty solid. I don't know about Ogbah in terms of dropping one of those two, but Jerome Baker would be probably the guy I'd want in my lineup. Pretty
I would never.
at this point.
I would never drop Hilton. I mean,
No,
look at what he's
Hilton's
doing
just,
right now. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy talk, Shane. Get your head on straight, man. Get your head in the game, bro. What are you gonna be doing? Dropping the number one defensive back through the first 6 weeks of the season? Come on. I might drop Bradbury for him, but I would never drop Hilton.
I think Bradbury's a little bit more replaceable than Hilton.
Yeah. And I mean, people are noticing what Hilton's doing. I mean, like, look at it's kind of like Logan Ryan last year. I mean, I said a couple weeks ago, and it's just he's doing it. Like, you just have to respect it at this point.
Big play after big play. Whether and they're not all the same.
And I think that's I think that's part of the reason that Devin Bush is kind of hurting too. Is like and Terrell Edmonds, like they just have other guys that are doing things, getting things done. There's just less available for Devin Bush or Terrell Edmonds or Minkah Fitzpatrick. So it is what it is there. Speaking of Devin Bush, we have Olakun, Devin Bush, or DeForest Buckner. I'm straight up okay with benching Devin Bush right now, personally. He's like linebacker, I think I looked it up, 81, I believe is what he is right now. I mean, it's bad for Devin Bush.
I know the talk was bringing Edmonds down into the box more because of how many tackles Bush and Vince Williams missed last year. Edmonds missed quite a bit too. But I don't know. It's just that the Steelers seem to be. I mean, their pass rush is insane, but it seems like Hilton, even in that striker position, is something that is really, really helping. Like you just kind of alluded to on the last question. That's a tough one, man. You don't like to sit your studs, but I mean, can you call Devin Bush a stud at this point? I mean, it's been kind of a consistent downward spiral for him. I mean, he's a great athlete, but I mean, you just got to figure it out in terms of IDP production. It's Olakun for me, I think. It's just that the safer play there. I mean, if you're looking for a boom bust, maybe I guess play Devin Bush. But I think if you're looking, I mean, we're playing to win. If you're playing to win, I think it's Olakun there. Not to take anything away from Buckner, but if it's a league where your defensive tackles are scoring a lot higher for actual individual tackles, I mean, I would consider Buckner there, but it's hard to sit a linebacker for a defensive tackle when you have the option.
Agreed. I'm gonna go Olakun there. Bush, like you said, he's just not giving you what he gave you last year. Not even close, and that sucks. But that's just the reality of the season we're in. I don't think he's less of a player than he was. I don't think that he's necessarily lost any of his long-term value. But this week, I am, in week 6, I'm not comfortable playing him as a 1, 2. I mean, he could be like a low-end 2 or a 3. But I'd be much more happy to play Olakun, who I think is going to be a 1 again this week, or a top 15 guy, And if you're on sleeper, I'm playing Olakun in a DB spot, so all the better for me. And then, like you said, even in that same thought process, I'd rather take DeForest Buckner. He's playing 90% of snaps basically, and he hasn't lost anything from this season to last season. So Devin Bush is the risky play there. It's weird, but that's just where it is. For me.
Yeah. No, he's done nothing.
So, hope that helped you out, Kavan Sohal. What up, Spots back? Hey, you're welcome, man. Shane, why you gotta keep adding layers and layers and layers to questions, bro? You got another layer. The next comment is another layer to this same. Well, it's not the same question, but I'm not playing Van Noy over the guys we told you about earlier, or drop any of those guys for Van Noy. I mean, just play Hilton, just chill, bro. I mean, maybe I would drop Bradbury to pick up Baker. Just because if Baker has another pop week, I mean, you saw the excitement week 1 over Baker, so just flip him for anything, and that's an upgrade. So, but Van Noy, he had a good week too. I mean, he popped. I mean, somebody on this Miami team's going to pop against the Jets. We know that, and I understand what you're trying to do here, but I'm not going to drop
bottle.
Feels like you're chasing points, though.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, and you're going to be mad because whoever you pick up is not going to be the one who does it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have Devin Bush low key. He is a drop this year. Yeah, I'm not playing Devin Bush over any of those guys that you are like, the original guys you mentioned.
Are you dropping them though?
Oof.
In redraft, I mean, I'm open to it. I'm not saying I want to. I'm open to it. But in redraft, I mean, I don't have him anywhere in redraft. He kind of went really high this year in a lot of drafts, higher than I was comfortable taking him. And I'm a big Devin Bush guy, but it was just like, why would I take Devin Bush? 2 guys I was super into this year. I mean, one guy I was really into this year, who's kind of a later guy, was Rashaan Evans. I was just like, I'm just going to take Rashaan Evans everywhere, and you could get him so much later than a guy like Devin Bush or even Olakun. You could get him at the end of a draft, and here we are. I mean, they're coming through. So I don't know, and that's a tough problem to have. I've dropped some guys this year I didn't want to drop necessarily, but I mean, like Josh Allen in redraft, I dropped him recently to pick up somebody. So I mean, it's okay. Like if you need to do that, you can do that. So what we got here? Thanks, guys. You're welcome, man. All right, here's another question. We got Kaiser, Olakun, or Okreki.
Oh, boy.
Dang, that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all going to put up good numbers, like we said. Olakun seems to be like the most popular guy to talk about this week. Jeez. Kaiser's been talked about too, though, a lot today. I'm probably still going to
giving up on Deion Jones.
It took him long enough. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, right.
I didn't get that. I just stood in like Keanu Neal, another guy. I'm just like, yo, like, why are we doing this? Like, things change, I mean, and especially after such. But that's the thing, though, it wasn't even quick. Like, it was we have a long record of them not being what people want them or telling you they are. Like, this is very cut and dry at this point. I've beat that horse literally to death. So
yeah, I'm gonna mention that this week in the article. It's just like it's not as fluid as the offensive side because there's not as many studs on the defensive side. So it's a lot easier to just say like, hey, I can find a guy on the waiver wire right now who's a projected between 13 to 18 points per week, per game, and you're just like so used to. Hey, but his name is Devin Bush, but his name is Deion Jones. You know what I mean? Like, that's the guy that's jersey selling for that team or has been selling for that team. It's just, I mean, and it's tough. And in, like, redraft, it's a lot easier in redraft to cut bait on those guys, but in Dynasty, you'll hold. I mean, guys have been holding on to Keanu Neal for 5 years, and he's played one of the last 3 seasons,
Well, Derwin James is kind of putting himself in the mix there too, unfortunately. We were we were low on Derwin James all summer, and I mean, not the injuries aside, I mean, that sucks, but even before that, I went back. One of the things that I looked at last season, which was really interesting to me, was, I mean, he played 5 games last season, Derwin James, everybody's number 1 defensive back. And in those 5 games, playing 100% of snaps, he only missed like 2 defensive snaps in those last 5 games. He didn't get into the top 24 one single week at defensive back. And I was like, I mean, he had a great season, yeah, but like he's already not being used and doing what he was doing on even close to a per game basis. And then you look at guys like Buda Baker and Jamal Adams. I mean, they've been top 12 like multiple times this season already. And it's just like,
Yep.
just look at the reality. Like, the reality is, I don't know why you want to fade certain guys because they're not as cool or hip. Like Derwin James is who's everybody's number one defensive back coming to the year. And I was like, the facts that just doesn't make any sense. And now he's hurt. So, I mean, no, we all get to look, we're all wrong, but I mean, he's a fade for me in Dynasty even, unfortunately. He's already basically the new Keanu Neal. So sucks.
Oh man, that is a cold comparison.
Would you drop J.J. Watt for Chase Winovich? Laughing my ass off. Tyreek Ellis.
No, for me. Chase is still the snaps concern me. I mean, as consistent as he's been on. I think he has at least a half sack in every game but one this year. Which is 4 games for New England, which is nice. But I mean, that's another like name one. But I think J.J. Watt's his snaps are higher. I don't know. I still. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stick with J.J. I think that he's going to turn it around here with Bill O'Brien finally out of town. Maybe they'll be a little rejuvenated, and he'll turn it around. But, yeah, I don't feel good about that one, but I think I'm going to still hold on to J.J. if we're talking redraft here.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm going to go – who does J.J. play this week? I got to check this out. They play Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll stick with JJ one more week. I mean, there's a chance Chase Winovich sticks around. Well, he said, on your waiver wire another week. If JJ gets dropped, he's going to get picked up. Mm-hmm. So I might wait it out one more week and just kind of see what how the situation progresses after this week. So that's kind of where I'm at. I had a question on Twitter. I can't pull that one up, but it's from Fernando Timbo. He says, sit one for week 6, Terrell Edmonds or Tracy Walker. That's pretty easy for me. I'm going to sit Edmonds because Tracy Walker's, I mean, he's about as good as they get.
But too many mouths to feed in Pittsburgh right now. In terms of, we spoke on Hilton playing as well as he's playing, and Devin Bush not. But yeah, Edmonds is, I don't want to say boom bust, but he's just a little more risky than Tracy Walker for me.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm going to keep Tracy Walker in. All right, will you guys start Steve Nelson as a cornerback today? I mean, he had a big game last week, but I don't know. I feel like that's kind of point chasing too. Like I would, like if you don't have, I'm not going to like stress over who I'm starting at cornerback if I'm starting one. Like if he's already on my team and he's in my starting spot, yeah, I'm not going to like go out and I'm not going to hunt for more points or something different there personally.
Yeah, you just take what you can get in the streaming cornerback department. You know what I mean? Like it's great, like you were talking about, if you got a guy like Hilton that you could start every single week. But what I usually do when I'm chasing cornerback like that, whether it's a buy or just kind of a stream from week to week, is you just kind of take top 3 or 4 guys that you're interested in, look at the points per game, and then going back and just look at the box scores on those. If you need to look at snap counts, it's all something that could be done within 15 minutes. I know some of us are, degenerates and in 30 leagues and stuff like that, so it's not as easy. But during the week, you can do it for sure. So Pierre Desir from the Jets is a guy that is at the top of almost every single waiver wire right now because he's scoring so well. Because the Jets are just on the field,
a million snaps.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's sometimes on better defenses, you almost don't want those cornerbacks because, teams are, they're getting off the field. They're getting off the field consistently. So sometimes you want those teams that are kind of, getting a million snaps because they just can't get off the field and teams are just moving the ball on them.
Yep. All right. Jordan helped me win my matchup last week with Kaiser White. Call. You guys rock. You're welcome, man. Yeah, Kaiser White, he's a guy, he jumped up in my Dynasty Nerds rankings 2 weeks ago. I had him at, he was low. He was like in the 250 overall. Yeah. He's in my top.
Moved him up as well.
Yeah, he's in my top 170 now. Because, we're in the season. Like, I know Dynasty's long-term, but, like, most of the season in Dynasty is like not in football season, and we move things based on information there all the time. This camp report come out, you go through 3. There's no reason a guy in season should not get the same kind of attention, like in your rankings, in my opinion. So he got a big jump for me. I think he's in my top 150. He might even be up even higher than that, I think. So, and he's amazing. Like, he's one of the top scoring defensive backs on Sleeper, and he's one of the top scoring linebackers everywhere right now. So he's playing all the snaps. I mean, he's doing everything we wanted Kenneth Murray to do, basically. And Kenneth Murray is not doing bad either, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Olakun and Okrik also got a bump for me because kind of to my point earlier, Dynasty and the IDP side is you just don't have those studs. You don't have, well, I still believe in Mike Williams for the Chargers. I mean, you don't have those guys that are like, well, he's still, a wide receiver or whatever, because I believe in him. On the IDP side, you have to realize that if you're starting Devin Bush every week, he's potentially costing you wins at this point. And as much as it hurts, because there's nothing you can do, you drafted him as high as you did. I mean, go back to the Isaiah Simmons thing. I mean, there's chances that he was taken in the beginning of the second round to the middle of the second round of a lot of rookie drafts, and you're sitting here just not being able to start him on a barely a 2 point per game basis at this point, not seeing hardly any snaps. So it's I mean, as tough as it is you have to realize that a guy like Xavier White comes in and he's a stud. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's producing at an insane rate. It's just you have to be a little bit. I mean, that's why deeper leagues are kind of my preference, because it's tough when you're only starting 2 linebackers or something like that, because it's you don't really have the ability to just stash Devin Bush on your bench until he figures it out. You know what I mean? So the cutting him and all that kind of stuff are serious conversations, which hurt.
Yeah. Yep. Tough question. Yeah, we're referring back to this one. This was probably one of the toughest ones of the day. I think we all settled on Kaiser, but they're all great plays. Guys, sleeper, studs, and bust for today. Oh my gosh, this is like the hardest question ever to answer. Devin Bush is gonna bust. There you go. There's an easy one.
That's big surprise.
Bush the bust. Bust Bush.
Oh my god.
Busty Bush.
Remember when everybody was on fire for him last season? We were with the flame.
I have Kevin Byrd was my sit for safety this year for DB, or this week for DB. That three safety look that the Titans are using, it seems like Byrd's kind of being forced into coverage a little bit more and not really producing as much as Vaccaro is. So and they're playing Amani Hooker as well. He did actually a brilliant game plan against the Bills last week, if you guys saw that game. But yeah, Byrd's just kind of another guy that seems a little bit more risky at this point until he kind of proves it. He's not I want to say he's in like the DB like 40 or 50 range in IDP 1, 2, 3 scoring. He's still playing the snaps, so I mean you would think that he is going to produce eventually, but Titans defense is a little Malcolm Butler coming in, that guy seems to be just kind of producing anywhere he goes in terms of IDP. So Byrd would be probably a guy I stay away from. I don't know if people are still on him because of name value.
Yeah, I agree with that one a lot. Some sleepers for this week. I don't know. I'll give you Stephon Tua still a sleeper. He gets Cleveland. That's a tough matchup, but he's got just as good a chance as any to get that sack or 2 sacks. Dang, did you guys see they put Yetur Gross-Matos on IR? I missed that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I just saw that.
Improving in.
Yeah, actually, Steve, can you try to pull up Schefter's information, see if we got any ins and outs information coming through? It's been about 10 minutes after they start releasing that, so that would be good to comment on. Shane, sleepers, I don't know who's another good sleeper. I guess maybe is Devin Canard a sleeper? He's questionable even right now, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was going to miss or not, but he was the next man up approach for me in terms of Chandler heading to IR. Canard had a pretty good season last year with Detroit, and he's going to play that position. But who knows what Arizona's doing on the defensive side of the ball in
Yeah.
terms of the snaps and linebackers and all that.
Chandler Jones wasn't doing anything either.
Yeah,
I mean,
know. Yeah, that was
which really sucked.
Yeah.
Tough luck.
I don't know if you can call him a sleeper because he's producing so well, but Carl Lawson's snap should see a increase now with Hubbard going to short-term IR. I don't know if people are consistently starting Lawson. I have him in a ton of dynasty leagues, but I know he's scoring well, but it's mostly because of the sacks. The snaps haven't really been there, but that should, see enough. He should be an every down player now. I think with Hubbard out, Dunlop is kind of just getting old.
Looks like Ronnie Harrison and Carl Joseph are both out today, so Sendejo and Redwine should be good plays, right? Is Sendejo still? Yeah, so that's good. That sucks. Ronnie Harrison was just kind of having his first big game last week, or he did have a big game last week, but now we can't get him back on the field, unfortunately. Where do you have Redwine ranked this week? I don't know. He's pretty low, but I need to bring him up a little bit probably. All right, let's see what we got here. Another question. Dirty O question. Drake or Gibson? I'm going Gibson by a fairly wide berth, personally.
Definitely.
I do not like what's going on with Kenyon Drake right now. The target numbers, the elusive rating is in the Frank Gore territory. I think Frank Gore's actually better than him in that right now. I was not very high on Kenyon Drake in terms of like the startup value that he was having this year in a few startups that I've done, because Cliff Kingsbury just strikes me as the kind of guy who has to, will roll his eyes if he has to run the ball more than twice a drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just doesn't want to do it. He's like, another one of these plays. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
I
reason
definitely
why
agree with you.
He's just stacking wide receivers to throw to him. Not that Drake's bad or anything, but Chase Edmonds is a lot cheaper in terms of long-term value for the Cardinals, and I think that they think that they're just going to get that production out of the running back position that they're going to get, which is why they kind of shipped off David Johnson. So I think it would be Gibson for me, because even the coach speak coming out, there isn't a ton of positive for Drake, whereas it seems like Ron Rivera is all about Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson just seems to be trending up, and Drake's trending out. And yeah, I'm with you there 100%. I don't want to start Drake. The leagues I am starting him. I think I also have Chase Edmonds. I'm just starting both, and I'm just I just want to get 22-ish points between the both of you, and I'll be happy. That's kind of where I'm at. And I know, Kenyon Drake it sucks. He was so good last year. He looked explosive. He was, finding the holes. He was catching the ball. They're not even using him the same way this year. So I don't know. Like you said, I think Cliff Kingsbury is obsessed with throwing the ball. And we said this last week. They just want to funnel everything through DeAndre Hopkins, just like the Panthers want to funnel everything through Christian McCaffrey. And yeah, that gives you an all-pro player at the end of the season, but it also gives you a 7-9 record. So, you got to change things up a little bit. Hopefully they can establish the run a little bit. Maybe Kenyon Drake will break out, but I'm playing Gibson. Good question, Tyreek. Currently have Olakun, but also have Micah Kaiser, but he is questionable. Will you stick with Olakun or take a chance on Kaiser? I think we had this exact same question earlier from somebody else. I'm still going to go with Kaiser. It's tough. They're back-to-back in my rankings, but Kaiser, if you'd have played last week and had the game that Troy Reeder had, which essentially Troy Reeder had sitting in there for him, then it wouldn't even be a question. Mike Kaiser's, he'd be the number one linebacker on the season, and we would be starting him every week. I think we should still view him in that same light. So that's kind of my take on it.
Sometimes it gets a little muddled at 1 o'clock too, when you kind of you're picking in those matchups, and you'll start a guy at 1 o'clock and you don't really hear much, and then it's really nice if you do, when I was in a lot of limited leagues, you're only in 3 or 4 leagues, and you're kind of checking your matchups. What do I need from between Sunday and Monday night? And it's no better feeling than to know that you got a Kaiser in your back pocket if you're, you had some underwhelming performances earlier in the day.
Cool. What we got here? Good morning. What's up, Shauna? Please pick 4 Terrell Adams, Shaq Barrett, BJ Goodson, Micah Kaiser, Bobby Okereke, and Andrew Van Winkle. Thanks. All right. 4 of them, eh? Well, I'm gonna start with the ones I'm definitely playing. I'm definitely playing Shaq Barrett. I'm definitely playing Micah Kaiser, and I'm definitely playing Bobby Okereke. That's for sure for me. And then I'll probably in that last spot I'll probably throw in Adams or Goodson.
I said,
Leaning
yeah.
Adams. What about you fellas?
See, what do
I'm
you think about
probably Goodson. He'll probably be Goodson. He just seems to be the most consistent linebacker for Cleveland right now. Van Winkle and Adams are waiver wire guys at this point, so I just wanted to see something. I want to see something before I'm content on starting them. I'm with you on those three. There's no way I'm sitting any of those three. I would kind of just say Van Winkle would be out for me, so it would be between Goodson and Adams, depending on how you felt there. Goodson just seems to be the safer of the
Nice.
two.
Word. Makes sense. What's up, Caleb? Nice to see you this morning. I have Olakun and Queen locked in. Zadarius Smith or Bobby Okereke. League allows 3 IDP slots. I'm going to go Okereke there. I know Zadarius is definitely a pop play, and he could pop. I think still to the date this season, he has the biggest IDP game. He had like an IDP 1, 2, 3. He had 45 or 46 against Matt Ryan week 4. And I know last week Aaron Donald got up to 44, and Troy Reader got up to 44 as well. But nobody's passed what Zadarius has done yet this season. But I'm probably going to take the floor play there in just a 3 IDP league and stick with Okereke.
Yeah, same. It would be Okereke for me in the starts this week. So gonna toe the company line there and stay on brand.
Got to do what you got to do. All right. Thoughts on linebackers for the Bengals and Willie Gay? That's funny. I was just looking at them all in my rankings. I think this is a good week, an interesting week for the Bengals linebackers. I could see this being the week that we have the rookies kind of take over and some of these veteran linebackers like Bynes and Pratt kind of maybe get the less than the lion's share of the snaps. They've been liking to roll out AKG, Akeem Gaithers David, or AGK. Akeem,
Davis
ADG.
Gaither,
Yeah.
ADG.
I want to throw a K in there for some reason, but they rolled him out last week for I think like upwards of 70% of snaps. Logan Wilson has been playing really well. I mean, he had a couple impact plays. He had an interception last week. He had an interception the week before when he played, and he had a second interception this past week that he just barely missed on. So, I mean, he's showing himself to be involved in plays that you definitely want to see from your linebackers in real life football and in IDP. So I could see them being like, you guys, this is your week. Like, just go, don't fuck this up, basically. So, and Willie Gay, I think he's still risky, but you can play him as a 3 or a 4 this week and hope for the best.
Yeah, my thoughts on the Bengals linebackers are Logan Wilson is definitely their best coverage guy. There's no question about it. And I almost want to say Akeem Davis Gaither is their best tackler. With Bynes, you know you're going to get what you're going to get. You're not going to ever get a boom week from Josh Bynes. You're going to get that, just kind of consistent, between 6 and 8, 9 tackles. So you're going to get that. But it seems that things are shifting. I mean, we do forget that Jermaine Pratt is still only like 23, but he is awful. Like, he is just not. He's not good. Like, so and it hurts because I have Jermaine Pratt in a lot of spots because I saw a really, really big value on him, not only in startups but even in rookie drafts. But
tell anybody.
I'm sorry, it hurts.
You got to sell him somehow.
Yeah,
great player.
Great player.
I've actually sold them twice already this year, but that shows you how much of them I have. I'm with you, though, in terms of the rookies taking over. Akeem Davis Gaither seems to be playing a little bit more than Wilson. I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah, it seems like they'll probably be on the field a ton trying to stop the run towards the end of that game. So they might be cycling in linebackers just to keep bodies fresh at some point. So in terms of Willie Gay, I know he saw his highest snap share, I think, this past week, but I despise what's going on in the Kansas City linebacking core right now. It seems like the only team in the league that's using linebacker by committee. Hitchens seems to be the guy there, but I mean, he's hurt every 6 snaps, it seems, whether it's a play or two that he's out. Niemanen's gross.
Yeah, I don't know why they're insisting on doing this. Like, just put out Willie Gay, who you drafted high, and play him, and that's it. Just let him figure it out. Like, it's not like it's going to be worse than what's going on right now. Like, yeah, I'm with you 100% on that.
Yeah, they have enough impact players that, I mean, like enough veterans around him that they can let Willie Gay be, who he is and make the impact plays. But yeah, I don't know. It's Spags is weird. He's got all those hybrid NASCAR packages and stuff. So who knows?
Yeah. How you feeling about Devondre Campbell, linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals? I love him. I mean, he's been playing really well since last year. He's underrated for sure. And I mean, I think he deserves to be in your lineup pretty much on a weekly basis at this point. If you don't trust him, I don't really know what else he's got to do to prove to you that he's an every week player. That's kind of where I'm at with him.
He probably goes into the sleeper question that we had before, because it just seems like even as well as he's producing, people don't want to start him, or he's not like the sexy start. But yeah, in terms of consistency and I learned my lesson hard way. I think week 2 I had him, in the sitcom, because I was like, Isaiah Simmons, this and that. But yeah, I mean, it's Campbell's one of their better defensive players and consistent defensive players, and he's seeing all the snaps. So yeah, he should be in your lineup if you're starting multiple linebackers and you have him. He's definitely a safe play.
Yep, agreed. You should be playing Devondre Campbell. What's up, Caleb? Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Anytime. If you got any more questions, roll them on in. We'll probably be on here another, 15, 20 minutes or so. Just finish out what we got here in the queue. And I think, Steve, did we get any more inactives news? Like I said, I just kind of been.
I got some inactive news up here for us.
All right, what we got?
Crap. Do with that tab. Oh, wait, here it is. Okay. We've got Tack McKinley's out. Jordan Miller, Jalen Hawkins, Derek Wolfe is out.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's playing Eli Apple. Travis Gibson, Duke Shelley. I don't think we need that one. Ronnie Harrison, Joe Jackson, Carl Joseph. We got Jacob Phillips.
Jacob Phillips, that's a linebacker for
Cleveland, yeah.
Cleveland, yeah. I know a lot of people were kind of on him coming in. He hadn't really done much, though.
Cleveland's another weird linebacking core, it seems.
Yeah, what's up with Mac Wilson? I figured he would just kind of get snapped because he's like the vet there now, and they've just been like, well, we're going to ease you in. They've been easing him in for like 2-3 weeks now, right? Like, what's the deal?
They're still saying he's not – they don't feel like he's not 100%, but it's like blaming it on, like, obviously the injury before what was, I guess, training camp, COVID training camp. But still, I mean, the guy produced last year. It's I don't know. It's weird that you're keeping him off the field for guys like Taki and Malcolm Smith.
Yeah.
Like, it's just those guys are gross. So
no shade on Taki, but yeah, he really hasn't done a lot to prove that he needs to be out there nearly as much as he is out there. That's for dang sure. All right. What we got here? Shauna, one more. What do you guys think about DT Neville Gallimore? Man, we were big on Gallimore coming into the season, and me and Steve and I got to meet him at the Senior Bowl and interview him, which was really fun, cool experience. I saw him out there playing this last week. He made a couple plays here and there. But I don't know. I mean, I think he's still developing. I don't know if you can play him necessarily every week, or I mean, if you're in like a 2 DT league, then I think he's fine to throw out there 100%. But what are you guys' thoughts on him?
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's a this week kind of question, so I'm definitely hesitant. But
yeah, so he's a stash for me right now. I mean, like in start 2 DT, I mean, some of the defensive tackles against started are pretty gross. So you could definitely do worse than Neville Gallimore.
Yeah,
no,
100%.
But yeah, in terms of if you're just looking, for a flyer play this week, I think that you could probably find better out there unless you're in a pretty deep league.
Pretty tough unless you're really hard up. Yeah, but like you said, he's definitely a developmental guy. I definitely want him around. If I have, if I'm in a DT league, which I'm in a couple of DT specific leagues, and he's a good guy to get and put onto your taxi squad for sure. Should I start Troy or should I start Reader LA or linebacker or Zadarius LB for Green Bay? I'm gonna go Zadarius just because I don't know that Reader's even gonna get play time. What's he gonna be doing this week? I know he had a big week last week, but I mean Kaiser has been the guy. Mike Kaiser's been the guy there, so I kind of just have to keep rocking with him personally.
Yeah, it'd be Zadarius for me. Reader was the big boom week, and I kind of talked about how I try to stay away from that if I can. If Kaiser was out, it would be Reader for sure. But yeah, I don't know that he's gonna. I mean, he barely saw any snaps when Micah Kaiser was doing his thing before he got
Exactly.
Injured, so I think
you're playing with fire.
Yeah, agreed.
If you put him in your lineup, you're playing with fire. That's kind of how I'm viewing him. So would probably avoid and play Zadarius, even though he's questionable. I mean, he can boom. Like we said, he has the biggest IDP week of the season so far. So I put him out there over Reader, who was right on his heels with another great game, though. All right, please rate my team this week. Safety, Chuck Clark and Bates. Linebacker, I have Olakun. DT, Grady Jarrett. DE, Myles Garrett. CB, Nelson. I mean, I give that an A. I feel good about that team.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Bates, Myles Garrett, Grady Jarrett. I mean, you're stacked, bro. I feel really good about that.
Only improvement I could see would be Nelson, but I mean, depending on what you could just be chasing points there too. So I mean, if you find an upgrade over cornerback, that is the only way I could see improving that from an A to a plus.
There you go.
Yep, exactly. I think that's a great setup you got there, man. All right. Is Montes swept Washington a good start this week at DL? Yeah.
Yes.
You should be playing him basically every week at this point. I know he doesn't.
Don't they play Jacksonville this week?
Even better.
The Giants?
Giants? Oh, great. Yeah. Fire him up.
Jeez, even better.
Yeah. Definitely do not want him sitting on your bench this week or any week, probably. I did bench him in a league or two last week, but I have him all over the place. But that was because I had, Myles Garrett and Chandler Jones, guys like that. Glad Chandler. I mean, rest up, Chandler Jones. We miss you, big guy, but really, really not helping me out this year.
Makes the lineup decisions a little easier now that his name's not on there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to keep puffing him up. Tyron Johnson or Xavier Woods? I don't know anything about Tyron Johnson. I'm not even going to lie to you. So I'm going to go with Xavier Woods.
Tyron had the one big game. I believe it was the Rams game. I think he ended up with like a sack, a bunch of tackles. He played mostly from the slot. Since Norman's been back, it seems like Tyron's now forced into coverage a little bit more. Xavier Woods is a guy that is a lot better for IDP than he is for real football, I think. He's a little tough to watch at times, but he produces. He's going to give you the safer floor. Trey White, I believe, is back this week. Levi Wallace will be out, so I'm thinking you're looking at Trey White and Norman as the outside corner. Tyron will probably play in the slot a little bit more, but you're playing the Chiefs, man. You're going to be running downfield trying to cover those weapons, so I don't see a big game. I don't think this is close. I think it's Xavier by quite a bit.
Agreed. I'm going to go Xavier as well. We got here's a tough one. Got Jaylen, Smith, Queen, and Kaiser. All right. Where's David? Did he ask anything else?
No, I know. That's all he said.
Oh, well, good for you, man. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
I love that. That's a great team.
Yep.
You got 2 top 5 linebackers, and you got a safety playing linebacker. I love it. B. Will 847. Do I add Summers or Greenlaw? And do I play either over Bobby O? I would add Greenlaw, and I would not play him over Bobby O.
Agreed.
Summers, I'm just like meh about. I don't know if that's right or wrong. That's just how I am.
He's not
So,
great, but it just seems like, that linebacker, inside linebacker position for Green Bay is another one that seems to produce for IDP. I don't know how long Kirksey's really going to be out. I'm really, really hoping it's not the season because he was awesome this year. Summers is nowhere near the athlete. Greenlaw produced very, very well when Quan was out. I know Quan's out today, but yeah, agree. No way I'm playing him over Bavio.
there you have it. Let's see what we got here. This is really my last one. It's all good. Feel free to ask away. Please pick 2. Jeremy Chin, Marcus May, Kenny Vaccaro, Jordan Whitehead, or Jared Wilson. That is Jeremy Chin, easy first pick. The rest, though, I'm a little up in the air about.
I love Jordan Whitehead. He's been one of my best values all season.
Yeah.
Do not love the matchup this week. I know May's been really good too.
Jeremy Chin is the guy everybody wishes Isaiah Simmons was.
No, you're
'cause they're actually
100%
playing
right.
him.
Yeah, that's true too.
Damn.
I might go Vaccaro there. I know
That's
they're
what I'm
playing.
thinking.
They're going. Who they play? Tennessee plays
Houston.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Vaccaro there. That
Yeah,
seems like
same.
the play to me. Gotta move this team up. So Jeremy Chin and Kenny Vaccaro.
Wilson had a pretty good game last week against Houston.
Yeah, and he's playing
100%
100% of snaps, but right out of the
right
gates,
this week.
I'm still gonna go Vaccaro and Chin though. They've both
Yeah,
just had really
I'm
good
Chin
games this
Vaccaro as
season
well.
so far. So let's see what we got here. Thanks, bro. Appreciate the feedback. All good. Appreciate you coming on and asking questions. Tell everybody you know, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You guys know the drill. Get the word out there for the IDP army to keep growing. What do you guys think about Le'Veon Bell signing with the Chiefs?
I don't think he's going to get the ball nearly as much as he thinks he is.
Is he going to go out there and do what old McCoy did, be a healthy scratch for a few weeks?
I
can see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he'll see the field within the next week or two. I don't think Le'Veon's washed. I don't think he's anywhere near the Pittsburgh Le'Veon. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is also. I never thought he was that back that you're gonna just want to slam into the line of scrimmage. I know a lot has been said about the Chiefs' offensive line being the struggles in the short yardage, goal-to-goal type of runs that he's not excelling on. But, I mean, one thing that Le'Veon has always possessed that I feel like people never give him, full credit for is his vision is next level. You know what I mean? His vision to find the hole and get through it.
And his patience, too. He loves standing there and just watching before he even moves.
They did just lose Assembly, it looks like, for the season. So, I mean, another injury up there definitely doesn't help. But, yeah, I think Le'Veon's ability as a pass catcher, and I think he's a way better pass blocker at this point than Clyde Edwards-Helaire is in terms of protecting Mahomes on those third downs. So, we'll see. I don't think – it's hard in the middle of the season to bring a guy in, pick him up, have him pick up a complex offense like the Chiefs is. Who knows? But yeah, I think in the short term, you got to think he hurts Clyde Edwards-Helaire's value. But I don't know. I don't think you're expecting either of those guys to finish much more than running back 2. A running back 2.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Looks like Josh Allen's out this week, guys. So pull him out of your lineups. But yeah, I'm kind of with you, Le'Veon Bell. I still think I would rather have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't think this necessarily hurts Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's funny. It's so funny. One of my favorite things to do in the IDP world, or fantasy world, is just I listen to a lot of shows. I listen to a lot of people's content, and I love listening to these narratives that just pop up and they just occur, and people are like, yeah, that's right. I agree with that. That's accurate. And something I saw or heard yesterday that was that was from Mike the Hitman Wright on the Fantasy Footballers, and he said something just kind of flippantly about Le'Veon Bell. He's like, oh, Le'Veon Bell, he's been a great goal line back And I was just like record scratch. I was like, hold the phone. I was like, we talking about the same Le'Veon Bell? I'm gonna pull up his information here. His rushing touchdowns through his career: 8, 8, 3, 7, 9, 10, and then 3 with the Jets. Like, he's never even been a double-digit rushing touchdown guy, and his average is right around 7. That's not a guy that I like call a great goal line back.
No.
And that, I mean, his total touchdowns, I mean, are pretty low too. I mean, I don't think he's only ever gone over double-digit touchdowns in his career twice, and that's been 11 and 13.
I mean, like Garrett Blunt had 18 one season.
Yeah, so I just thought that was kind of funny. I was like, Mike just said, "Oh, he's a great goal line back," and I was just like, "Says what? Says who?" Like, that's just not.
Yeah,
That's just not accurate. I
Yeah.
mean, like when I think of a great goal line back, I think of guys that slam it. I mean, Todd Gurley, great goal line back.
Guys who are
Chris Carson,
Mhm.
great
automatic.
goal line back. Yeah, Aaron Jones, great goal line back. Le'Veon Bell is not in that conversation of a great goal line back. But I just thought, and I was just like, oh, like now 500,000 fantasy football players are going to wake up tomorrow and think Le'Veon Bell is a great goal line back and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is fucked. And I was just like, come on, guys. Let's be a little bit more.
A lot of it, too, is a narrative that you can just kind of say something out there when you have the platform to say it. But I think Mike Clay had a really good tweet about it, and he was just like, listen, like, we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a rookie. This guy excels in the pass game. He knows the offense at this point. But, Le'Veon Bell coming in, we all equate Le'Veon Bell to Pittsburgh Le'Veon Bell, which he hasn't been that Le'Veon Bell in a long time. But you don't see the Chiefs going out to make this move because Darrell Williams is not it. LaShawn McCoy is not it. Like all that kind of stuff. All those guys that have come in to try to be like the next back over the last 2 years of Damian Williams is a guy that they actually miss at this point. So if Le'Veon comes in and gives you Damian Williams numbers, I don't think anyone in the fantasy community is going to be upset. But it's okay for him to give you those numbers. It's okay to say, like, hey, he's not going to be a running back one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be prolific or anything. I mean, the thing that made him prolific when he was with the Steelers was just the Steelers their drives went from goal to goal every fucking time. They just kept moving the downs, and he got so many targets. It was never about the touchdowns for Le'Veon Bell. It was never about the goal line work. It was just about the fact that their drives were always these, 18-play monsters because they had so many weapons, and Le'Veon Bell was involved twice on every set of downs. That's where his value came from, and I think it could be similar with the Steelers or with the Chiefs, but he's not going to get used like that. Like, I still think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the guy you want to own there. So that was just kind of an aside because that kind of happened this week. Will you pick up Kendall Fuller and drop Steven Nelson for cornerback? Kendall Fuller, I don't know. Again, I don't lose sleep over my corner situation.
Kendall Fuller isn't really anything special either.
Yeah, if I got a corner in and he's playing, that's it. That's all I'm looking for personally.
A lot of these questions you'll get is just based on the corner who boomed last week. So that's
yeah,
why,
exactly.
like
and Nelson,
you just don't chase.
Yeah, don't play with that game. Carl Lawson or Tuitt. I've got Tuitt higher in my rankings. I know that for sure. But Carl Lawson, like John was saying earlier, I mean, he's been a good play so far this season. And now with, what's his face going out?
Sam Hubbard.
Hubbard, yeah, he's in a good spot. I have Lawson higher in my rankings on the week, though.
I think they're within 2. I was looking at on maybe Fantasy Pros, they're 24 and 26 respectively. So I don't. Lawson, I guess I would expect more of like if you're looking for like a boom game, but I mean they're very close. They both could finish within, kind of like Bobby O and Anthony Walker last week. They might finish within points of each other.
Yep. Thanks for the help. No worries, Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Need 2. Logan Ryan. Need 2 cornerback. Logan Ryan, Bradbury, K. Fuller, Rasul Douglas. I'd take the first 2. Thanks for your help. See you next week. I would do Logan Ryan and Bradbury there.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Douglas.
Is that Kyle Fuller or Kendall Fuller?
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'd like to know. Because Kyle Fuller has a little bit better floor than Kendall.
Then I would go if it was Kyle Fuller. I'd probably go him over Bradbury. But Logan Ryan's playing safety and he's cornerback on MFL. So there's another little cheat code for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, one more. Because of the ankle injury, would you take Za'Darius and replace with Eric Wilson? Yeah, I would play Eric Wilson over Za'Darius for sure. He's been a beast. I mean,
I would play him over him if they were both healthy, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. He's just been so good. What are your thoughts on Dante Fowler? You think his injury is just kind of screwing him this season? That's kind of where I'm at with him, but
yeah, I think
so.
The scheme changed too. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of expect him to go in and be able to play with Grady Jarrett, who was super productive last year, and at the point of the beginning of the season, you got a healthy Dion, you got a healthy Cam Neal. You're thinking you bring in some corners, everything's all right, and it's just been terrible. Like that defense is disgusting.
Yeah, train wreck.
Yeah, so I mean, you're looking at another scheme change, obviously, for him after this year. I think he signed like a 3 to 4 year deal, something like that. So
yeah,
one of those guys I really, really wish would have hung around with the Rams because he was felt like he was playing his best football over the past couple of years with them. So
Jaylen Smith or Miles Jack? I'm going Jaylen Smith.
Great problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaylen for me. I'm not sitting that guy no matter what. He's just about as true as it gets in terms of IDP production.
He's so good. He's so good. He's my I don't know if on Dynasty Nerds if he's my linebacker 2 or 3. Because I think I might have just moved Martinez ahead of him. He was my linebacker. Well, I guess because on Dynasty Nerds we still have TJ Watt just as a linebacker. But so he's my actual 2. But Jaylen Smith was my 3. I think I might have just moved Blake Martinez up ahead of him. But if not, he and Blake Martinez, I mean, those are my top 4 guys. Is Leonard, TJ Watt, Jaylen Smith, Blake Martinez. I mean, you just know what you're going to get with them when they're on the field, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. I believe fully that, if Leonard was playing, he'd be bouncing back and doing well right now, but he's just not. So, and if you're not, that just sucks, unfortunately. Yeah. So Jaylen Smith was the final decision over there. All right, which 2? Pick from your flex 10-team, half PPR, Julio, Justin Jefferson, Robert Woods. I already have Hopkins and Galladay. You guys are my new favorite channel. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Share, tell everybody you know about us. Pick 2 on a 10-team. I'm going to go Julio and Robert Woods. Justin Jefferson's still a rookie, and if I have options like that, I'm not going to play a rookie personally.
Yeah.
Anytime I don't have to rely on Kirk Cousins for fantasy points, I'm all in on that. So,
I hate it, but it's true.
Julio returning seems like is the play this week, and Robert Woods has just been consistent. That's a big matchup. I think the last time they were on Sunday Night Football, Woods 8 against Dallas, which I mean everybody does, but he had a huge game. I think it was the opener. So it would be Woods.
Gonna go off for a monster game.
Yep. All right, we're going to take this question, and if we get any more in the next minute or 2, we'll take a couple more guys, but we're probably going to close out so we can all go set our lineups and buy beer and do all that good stuff we got to do because we got 9 games to watch at 9 o'clock or noon today, noon my time, and then we have 2 games this afternoon. So it's going to be a pretty hard-hitting party on the front end, so get ready. Lost both Chubb and Eckler. Do you think they come back soon, or should I try to trade for Lamar for a good running back? They're not. I wouldn't expect them either of them back for at least 3 weeks. So if you can trade Lamar for a running back right now, and that's what your team needs, if you have another wide or quarterback, like if you have Tannehill or even Minshew, I mean, if you're looking to win the season, you can't rely on them to help you. So I'd be open to it for sure. Yep. And probably trying to do it. I mean, in a 1 quarterback league, Lamar, he still has some clout because he's still basically a running back that throws, which makes his floor super high. I wish he had more of a ceiling, though. I wish they had a better receiver than Hollywood and Duvernay and Boyd. I mean, I wish he had anybody else would be nice. So I'm open to it.
Yeah, I'm not expecting either back for a while. Honestly, in Eckler's case, it might be something that he just doesn't return because they're not going to be a playoff team at this point. And it sounded like that injury was a lot worse than people were letting on. I'm definitely not giving up on Lamar, but if it's redraft, we're talking redraft here, I would definitely try to improve your running back situation because there's only so many, James Robinsons to go around that, you can start after, spending high draft capital, which I'm sure you did on both Chubb and Eckler. So I'm not willing to give up on Lamar. I know his trend is way down. I think I read he's down 500 yards and 5 touchdowns from where he was at this point last year. So that's a big production dip. Again, and I'm totally with you. I wish they had a possession receiver there that was not Mark Andrews. You know what I mean? Like someone else that I feel like he can rely on.
I feel like all he does is throw. He throws too many balls deep. He always wants to go deep. And then when he does throw short passes, he's either like running or he like throws them sideways. And I'm like, why does every pass have to be like this little like why can't you just just get it there? It's weird. Like I don't know.
That was the knock too. Like when he was at Louisville, I'm an ACC fan, so watching him play, it's just you just don't ever see him standing tall in the pocket, being able to deliver that 3rd and 9, just over.
Yeah, for 10 yards. That 3rd and 9 for 10 yards. It's 3rd and 9, and we're gonna go for 80, or I'm gonna scramble around way too long, and then I'm gonna throw it for 80.
You just have to understand that the NFL level teams will automatically take away the deep ball from you. The athletes that are on the pro level, they're just one-on-one coverage. You just have guys that can take guys away. In college, it's not so much. I mean, you watch Alabama play, you could see that guys just can't take it away. So, I would. I'd love to upgrade running back, but I mean, it doesn't seem like getting rid of Lamar is probably the answer unless you got, like you said, somebody consistent behind him.
All right, would you guys trade Buda Baker for a Mike Gesicki?
Actually, had this trade come up in another league that somebody asked me advice on.
I think that was me who asked you guys. I asked you guys this question. Yeah, I asked this in the Nerds Slack channel a week, like 3 or 4 days ago. This is the guy that. This is my buddy I work with, and I have Gesicki and he's got Baker, and we've been talking about this trade all week.
Thought this was your KD burner account.
No, I don't have time for burner account.
Man,
I know this is tough.
I think I told you I would do it, but what the context was it though? I think you had.
I have like Tanyan, and I have Ebron. Those are my other tight ends, but I have Gesicki, and it's Dynasty, so I was just like, it's hard to get a good tight end in Dynasty, and all these 3 guys are kind of in that developmental stage where it's like next year they could be that next big thing, but it's like Buda Baker is a top commodity at his position. Yeah, exactly.
You said Ebron was in that developmental stage.
Well, I mean,
he's been in that developmental stage for his whole career. Time.
Yeah. I really want Buda Baker, but I don't need safety in that league so bad. But I don't know. It's a tough spot.
Well, all you gotta do is listen to George Kittle and realize that Robert Tonyan is the next George Kittle because they worked out once.
Hey, I'm in on Robert Tonyan. I watched him play the other night. He good.
Yeah, absolutely. All I need is like Adam's back this week. So all I need is like for him to see a deep 5 targets, 6 targets for me to be like, all right,
he will.
I'm in, you know what I mean?
He's in. Exactly. He'll get 5 targets this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Rodgers is going to completely ghost MVS and everybody else, basically.
Yeah, for good reason.
Yep.
Yeah, I would do it. I think Buda is. I mean, especially this year. I think you're as long as he stays healthy, you're looking at he's probably going to be pretty close to safety, the top safety. I know there's some guys outperforming him and stuff, but in terms of dynasty, he's probably the guy you want long term. Love Jamal Adams and everything, but I don't know what
I love Adams so much.
Yeah,
he does get banged up a little bit lately.
Yeah, so, but I don't think Gesicki hurts you as much in the long term. That if you can add a guy like Baker, who's like you said is top of his position.
Yeah, there you go, John. We'll figure it out. We'll have to see how today goes. Thoughts on Dunlop getting more snaps this week? I hope I think he's supposed to with Sam Hubbard out. He's still a play. I think he's a play as a 2, a low end 2-ish.
The thing with Dunlop is he's really had a bad season. He had the huge boom game against Philly that ended up going into overtime, which, of course, he was on the sit week, sit for me that week because he was pretty bad up until that point. But his snaps have seemingly increased. They're running out of bodies in Cleveland, especially with this Hubbard injury and now Lawson playing quite a bit. I'm not sitting Carlos Dunlop probably anywhere unless I have a one of those Myles Garrett type players that I could play over him.
Yep. There you go. All right, last question, guys, so we can all get out of here and go do our thing. FanDuel question, I guess. FanDuel question.
I think it was just a final question. He's
final.
Final question. Yeah, there you go. Final question.
Your take on Cousins just killed me. Matt Ryan's or Cousins. Ryan has not been good the past few games. I mean, Ryan gets Julio back this week.
That's true.
Cousins is. I mean, I don't love Cousins. Matt Ryan, I don't love him right now either. But I'm probably gonna go Matt Ryan because he got more weapons. He got more weapons, yeah.
I gave my thoughts on Kirk Cousins. There's no way I would play that guy over Matt Ryan in any scenario ever. So, it's a run-first offense. That's when he's going to be at his best.
Yeah. Matt Ryan's been on a spiral of trash for 2 seasons now.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help, but who knows with Julio back. I mean, you're talking about Julio Ridley. You still have Hurst. Yeah, I don't see
Hurst is garbage.
He's not good.
I don't care how many touchdowns he catches today. I don't want any. I
still want him to catch touchdowns and everything, but
fade.
I think my exposure is like one redraft league, Hayden Hurst, and it was a waiver wire addiction.
Yeah, I need him in one league to do well.
All right, Emmanuel. In Dynasty, you hold. In redraft, you can probably drop. I mean, at this point, I would just wait and see if he comes off IR. I don't think he will, though.
Yeah, I don't see a reason for him to come back with. I mean, maybe if they sold that Seattle game last week, that door opens a little bit more. But I don't see Minnesota competing for a playoff spot at any point this season. And then why bring back your best defensive player to potentially re-aggravate an injury? Yannick's playing okay. I mean, they're not. But, yeah, I think that team's looking long-term. So I would redraft, even though someone might pick him up. Assuming you don't have an IR spot that he can sit on, I'm cutting him.
Agreed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks for sticking it out with us this morning. Hopefully we help you guys make some good decisions. John, do you want to tell them anything before we get out of here?
No, just keep looking for great content coming out, especially from Jordan, myself as well. At Dynasty Nerds, we got a lot on the IDP side. Our rankings became a lot more accessible and easy through the Dynasty GM tool. Just keep checking out. We're gonna do our best to get as much content out there to help you guys in season as well as the off season, something that we did not offer before. So just keep checking that out, and Jordan's all over the place. The exposure is great, and the IDP 123 article I did with him was one of my favorite articles to do. So we got all kinds of cool IDP 123 content after we get this first season kind of in the books and everybody on the same page. Dynasty Nerds, all their content is obviously going to be filtered through that context. So you guys will have, consistent, cohesive information across, all positions in all of our analysis on the site, which hopefully should be, it's just something the community needs. And you guys can do with that what you will. But like I said, after we get this first season in the books, points per game stuff, the GM tool is going to get upgraded. So we have player values, based on similar point scoring. We'll have snap stuff. I mean, we'll have everything, but right now we're working on in-season content. So appreciate everybody sticking with us. As always, Steve, you got anything you want to say before we shut her down?
I just want to mention to everybody out there to come to the YouTube channel and like us, subscribe, and send us some comments. Tell us what you got to say.
Yep, we appreciate it. All right, IDP Army, we will be back later this week. We're going to be doing an IDP 411 show, different flavor, different setup, different format because things are shaking up around here. And I think that'll be Wednesday or Thursday. And then obviously Defense Matters will drop Wednesday or Thursday morning with next week's IDP rankings. And we'll be back here next Sunday. You know the drill. So until next week, we'll see y'all. Have a good one. Good luck.